In the eastern part of Nigeria, nestled among green hills and rich farmlands, sat a mighty village called Amaori. Amaori was not just a village, it was a kingdom of pride. A kingdom beautified by its culture, its traditions, its unity, and its wealth. 5 powerful communities made up this great village: Omanaga, Omomibem, Omuaniok, Uhugwar, and Umangwo. Together they were one people, one voice, one Amaori. The village had one king, one prime minister, and a great cabinet of leaders drawn from all 5 communities. Each community had its own chief, and governing them all was a set of written laws that had been passed down from generation to generation. One of those laws was sacred above all others. No matter what happens, you must never invite the police into this village. Report to your community authority first. If it is beyond their power, take it to the king. This law was the heartbeat of Amaori. It was what kept the village strong, united, and respected among its neighbors. And for many years, Amaori lived in peace. Then Orna came back. Orna had been living in the city for many years. He dressed differently, spoke differently, and thought differently. Not long after his return to Amaori, trouble followed him like a shadow. A land dispute broke out between Orna and his own brother, Okoli. Okoli was a gentle and hardworking farmer. He had lived in Amaori his entire life, tending his land, respecting his elders, and keeping peace with his neighbors. He had never been in a dispute with anybody, not until his own brother came back from the city looking for trouble. The community authority stepped in immediately to settle the matter peacefully. Meetings were called. Elders sat together. Everything was moving in the right direction. But Orna was not interested in peace. One morning, without warning, without shame, without any regard for the sacred laws of Amaori, Orna picked up his phone and called the police. The police came. They handcuffed Okoli, a man who had done nothing wrong, and dragged him away like a criminal in front of his own people. The community authority was furious. They went immediately, bailed Okoli out, and called Orna before them. He was fined heavily for breaking the sacred law of the village. Orna paid the fine, and then he called the police again and had Okoli arrested a second time. The community authority had seen enough. They took the matter straight to the king. The king was furious. He immediately ordered the release of Okoli and summoned Orna to the palace. The meeting was tense. The king spoke with authority, but Orna sat there with arrogance in his eyes, fire in his heart, and disrespect on his lips. He stood up, turned his back on the king, and walked out of the palace. The whole of Amaori held its breath. Days passed. Then the news broke. Orna had taken Okoli, the community chief, the king himself, and several members of the king's cabinet to court. When this news reached the ears of Amaori, the village exploded. The elders shook their heads in disbelief. The women covered their mouths in shock. And the youth were on fire. The following morning, they marched. They moved as one body, one spirit, one anger, straight to Orna's compound. What followed was the sound of destruction. Property was smashed. Walls were broken. The protest spread through the entire village like wildfire. Every man, every woman, every elder demanded one thing: Orna must be banished. And so it was done. The king gathered his cabinet. The chiefs gathered their people. And with one united voice, Orna was banished from Amaori forever. He left the village he was born in, not as a hero, not as a man, but as a disgrace. The lesson is this: no matter how long you stay in the city, no matter how much money you make, no matter how powerful you think you have become, when you return to your roots, respect the laws of your people. A man who disrespects his own community has no home anywhere in this world. Amaori is still standing. Orna is still wandering.